Have you ever felt your mind was so full that even silence made noise? Thoughts, worries, regrets, all spinning inside you, like a storm you can't escape. This is the story of a young man who searched for peace everywhere, until a monk taught him the most powerful secret of all: how to empty his mind. Long ago, in a small mountain village, there lived a young traveler named Ravi. Ravi had everything a man could want: health, youth, and dreams. But his mind was never still. Every morning he woke with questions. Am I on the right path? Why can't I find peace? Why does success always slip away? He wandered from one teacher to another, from one book to another. But the more he learned, the heavier his thoughts became. One day, an old farmer saw him sitting under a banyan tree, lost in worry. He said, "You carry your thoughts like a basket of stones. Why don't you go to the silent monk who lives in the eastern mountains? They say he speaks few words, but his silence changes lives." Ravi packed his bag and began his climb through the mountains. The wind howled. The paths twisted, and his mind, as always, refused to rest. He kept repeating, "When I meet the monk, I'll ask everything: how to succeed, how to find happiness, how to control my mind." After 2 days, he reached the top, a small wooden hut surrounded by white clouds. There, sitting on a flat stone, was the monk of silence, eyes closed, breathing slow, motionless like the mountain itself. Ravi bowed deeply and said, "Master, I have traveled far to seek your wisdom. My mind is full, and I cannot find peace." The monk opened his eyes gently, looked at him, and said only 4 words: "Go to the river." Then he closed his eyes again. Confused but obedient, Ravi went down to the nearby river. He sat there all day waiting, thinking the monk might come, but no one came. As the sun set, he grew impatient and angry. What kind of lesson is this? I came for wisdom, not silence. The next morning he returned to the monk and said, "Master, I waited by the river. You didn't teach me anything." The monk smiled faintly. "Did you hear the river?" he asked. Ravi frowned. "I heard the noise of water." "Nothing more," the monk said. "When you listen only for words, you hear noise. When you listen with silence, you hear truth." Then again he said, "Go to the river." Ravi went again, this time more curious. He sat by the flowing river, trying to listen. At first, his thoughts screamed louder than the water: memories of failure, voices of doubt, the rush of plans for tomorrow. But as hours passed, his breathing slowed. He began to notice new sound, the rhythm of water over stones, the birds above, the whisper of the wind, and for a brief moment there was stillness, a silence so deep that he felt the river flow inside him. But then a thought returned. Am I learning? Am I wasting time? And the noise came back. He sighed and returned to the monk again, frustrated. "Master, I tried to listen. I felt calm for a moment, but my thoughts returned." The monk nodded. He poured tea into Ravi's cup and kept pouring until the tea overflowed. "Stop." "The cup is full!" shouted Ravi. The monk looked at him and said softly, "Exactly, like your mind. How can I pour wisdom into a cup that's already full?" Ravi understood. For the next few days, the monk gave Ravi simple tasks: sweeping leaves, fetching water, sitting in silence. Each day, Ravi tried to silence his thoughts, but the harder he tried, the louder they became. Finally, one evening, the monk said, "Stop fighting your thoughts. Watch them. Let them pass like clouds. Do not chase them. Do not resist them. Just observe." So Ravi sat quietly. He saw anger come and go. He saw worry arise and fade. He saw memories surface and vanish. Days turned into weeks. The river became his teacher, silence his companion, and slowly, his mind began to empty. One morning the monk asked, "Tell me, what did you find in the silence?" Ravi closed his eyes and smiled. "I found nothing. And yet in that nothing, I found everything." The monk's eyes gleamed. He said, "When the mind is empty, wisdom flows like water. When the cup is clean, every drop is pure. When you stop thinking about peace, peace becomes you." Ravi bowed. For the first time in his life, there were no questions left inside him, only stillness. Ravi returned to his village. People noticed something different about him. He walked slower. He spoke less. And when he did speak, his words carried calm. A young boy once asked him, "Teacher, what did you learn in the mountains?" Ravi smiled and said, "I learned that the mind is like this river. If you throw stones into it, it becomes muddy. If you let it flow, it becomes clear. To see your reflection, you must first let the water settle." And from that day on, everyone called him the silent teacher. We live in a world that glorifies noise, endless scrolling, constant talking, non-stop thinking. But wisdom is born not from noise, but from stillness. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop filling your mind and simply empty it, because an empty mind is not weak. It's free. And only a free mind can create, grow, and truly live. So today, close your eyes. Take one deep breath and remember the monk's words. A full cup cannot hold new tea, and a full mind cannot hold new life. Moral of the story: peace does not come from adding more to life. It comes from letting go. When you empty your mind, you make space for wisdom, gratitude, and growth.